Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show, and I am pleased to introduce you, well, I should say reintroduce you to someone who's been on our show before. We have Zachary Heinzerling. He is the director of Hugh the Hunter. Welcome back. You were here for Cutie and the Boxer 2 years back, right?
Yeah.
How's it to be
you.
back?
It's nice. It's a bit different this time. It's with a short. I feel like there's a little less pressure with shorts than features, which is actually nice because you kind of avoid some of the madness of you know, your first Sundance and, you know, worrying about how your film's doing, and you can kind of just enjoy the festival.
You can enjoy
more.
other aspects of Sundance, I'm sure, which should be nice for you. Well, let's talk about the film, Hugh the Hunter. What inspired you in the first place to share this story?
Well, the film is sort of based on the art of a friend of mine, Hugh Hayden. And Hugh is an artist I've known for a long time. And he was doing a residency in Scotland. And so the two of us decided that we were going to make a film based on his art in Scotland. So the film ends up kind of being a little bit of a hybrid between a documentary because it's about his work, but it's also more in the shape of a narrative film. It's kind of told in this kind of fairy tale fable way, all in an effort to kind of bring the themes of his artwork into a different context, i.e. the context of cinema, of a short film and a story.
As a director, how is it different working with a feature versus short? Without the obvious of obviously there's a much shorter length, but to take in all this information and put it in such a shorter format, is that harder? Or what is your approach as a director in doing that?
I wouldn't say it's harder. I mean, it's different. You know, this film, I had always conceived of it as a short film, you know, going into it, you know, planning out how long it would take, you know, researching it. It was always a shorter project. I mean, you know, the last feature I worked on, you know, took, you know, 2 years to complete, and so it's just a different way of conceiving. I do think there is challenges. There are very different challenges in short films than in narratives. So you have to sort of get an idea across in a very short amount of time, and it has to feel like it's a complete story, like something that you're getting something out of it with such a short amount of time. I think can be difficult.
Let's talk more about the storyline of this short. What stuck out to me is this day-long quest to hunt the elusive red grouse. Where did this idea come from? I kind of like the quirkiness, if you will.
Yeah, it's very quirky.
Involved.
So Hugh was doing work with the red grouse, which is a native bird in Scotland that's basically most known for its camouflage. It lives and feeds off of the heather, which is a type of flower in these rolling moors of Scotland, and its purple-colored feathers blend into the purple-colored heather. So it's incredibly hard to hunt. And it's also a native bird, so it's adapted to obviously blend in with its environment. And in Scotland, you know, the idea with this film was that humans also use a form of camouflage when hunting, but they also use a form of camouflage when in society. With whatever clothes you're wearing, it's a means of protection or a means of fitting in the same way that sort of like the animals are adapting. So the film is kind of this way of getting across an idea which is prevalent in Hugh's art. Hugh's an African-American artist living in the U.S., dealing with means of identification, dealing with camouflage, and so we took this concept, took it to Scotland, and made this kind of weird fairy tale film out of it. So, yeah, it's a bit hard to describe in a succinct way, but
which is the joy of it, because you can kind of take from it what you will.
Yeah.
And as a director going into that, did you have an idea of what you want viewers to take from this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think of the definition of documentary as something that is a film that's trying to find truth in someone's art or in someone's life. And this isn't a traditional documentary by any means, but it is trying to find a deeper truth in the artwork of Hugh. So in that way, it's trying to, you know, share those themes with an audience and get the audience to understand his art in a different way, because the art is powerful. So if the initial idea was from the art. The idea to share that with audiences and it's also a fun film. It's really entertaining. It's lighthearted. It's we shot it on 16mm film in Scotland, so it's really beautiful. It's got an original score that's like Baroque classical music. So I think it's like it's not severe. It's not. You know, sometimes when you think of art films, I think it's quite entertaining.
Well, that's a relief. I'm actually
I
pleased to hear
think
that. That's wonderful. Well, moving forward, I mean, this is, like I mentioned, this is your second time at Sundance, and in our studio. What's next for you? Are you kind of taking a break?
No, I'm working on my next feature, which is a narrative, yeah, hopefully we'll be shooting sometime. We're sort of still in the script phase.
Sure.
Yeah. So, and then I did another short film, which I'm finishing up now, which will come out probably in the next couple months.
Wow. Keeping busy. That is good to hear. And
Yeah.
hopefully, I can imagine we'll likely see you back here at Sundance
Hopefully,
sometime in
yeah.
the future.
Hope so.
Well, welcome back to Park City. Nice to have you here. Let's remind folks your show, or your film rather, will be over at the Prospector today at 11:30 a.m. So be sure to get in on that. Thank you so much. Nice to have you back here on the show. Enjoy your time here in Utah. We'll be right back after this commercial break. When we do, we have much more music coming from Brett Hunter. Then we also have the film Christmas Again. Don't go away.